Welcome to the lesson before the lesson. I've got a question for you. What if every time you wanted to make mac and cheese, you had to go plant the wheat, grow the wheat, harvest the wheat, process the wheat into white flour, because wheat pasta is gross, form the wheat into noodles, dry the noodles, and then start raising a calf so that you can make cheese? That's crazy. No one makes mac and cheese like that, and yet all that has to happen before you can have mac and cheese. Coding is the same way. If you had to do everything, you'd never make anything cutting edge or useful. Computer science, the golden arena of endless well-paying jobs, needs problem solvers from all backgrounds, but appears surrounded by a thick wall of incomprehensible ones and zeros, self-righteous nerd minions, and endless differential equation nightmares. This video textbook attempts to create an entrance through that wall by teaching programming basics in the language of real people. This video is a lecture about computer science beyond just normal programming. To watch this week's lecture covering programming tools and methods, click here. And to watch a real-life coding example in 3 different languages, click here. Luckily, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. One of the hallmarks of a good software engineer is that they will build code so that others can reuse it. It's just a nice thing to do. Programmers often package particularly useful code into files called libraries. You might also hear the word frameworks or packages a lot. They're not necessarily the same thing, but at this stage you can think of them as if they were. Libraries can be like an upgrade or an expansion pack to your language. They can give you special tools that your coding language isn't already including. These can be very simple tools or very complex ones. To use a library, you generally need to add a few lines of code to your program. You might need to use a keyword like import, include, or require. That might be followed by the name of the library you want to use, a web address where the library has been published, or a file path that contains the original library file. The way you include a library will depend on your language and the library. Generally, after you tell the program to include the library, it will copy the code of that library into your program, but it will do it behind the scenes so you don't see the code. You'll just have access to all the tools inside of the code. There are lots of places libraries can come from. A library might be a file or a tool that comes with the language, but to save space isn't copied into every program unless the programmer actually wants it. It might be a group of files or tools that your company or team developed to handle tasks that come up often in your programming. It might be a file a smart kid or a large organization shared over the web for everyone to use. It might even be an old file of your own that you want to reuse. Either way, libraries are essential to do nearly anything cool. Almost all real-world programming includes finding libraries to do the work for you. We'll even use a lot of them in this course.